Hey guys, I'm gonna do a little quick Bitcoin and Ethereum video right now. I have been away all weekend. I was out camping, so I was unable to make a video, but I was actively trading. One thing I want to point out is with this pattern of Bitcoin compared to the Ethereum chart, is that Ethereum broke that downward trend line a lot sooner than Bitcoin did. You can see here that the daily close we had above this downward sloping line was about 14 days ago. Whereas with Bitcoin, if I go to the daily chart, let's see here, when we broke above my white line, that was only 9 or 10 days ago. So you can see that Ethereum's actually been leading the way a little bit with the market, and that's kind of why I decided to start keeping it on my radar. I haven't been trading it very much in the last year or so, but I decided to keep an eye on it this weekend. And I pulled my second trade that hit over 300% profit on my highest take profit point, and that's my second 300+% trade this week. So it was absolutely awesome to see that happen. First time touching something other than Bitcoin in quite a while. So here you can see, if I zoom right into the 15-minute, we were kind of breaking new ground. So when we got a close above this green line here, when I kind of noticed it while I was out camping, I saw this little bit of support forming above that, so I was willing to get into a long, and I made it a 25x long, and then I just kind of wrote it up, and it was somewhere up here where I noticed that the percentage was around 300%. So I took a little bit more profit, and then I updated my stop loss so that if this green rising line were to give way, that I would be stopped out just below this little cluster here. And obviously that happened. This doesn't look overly bearish to me with that dump. Let me just zoom back out. If you look at the daily chart, I mean, we're just we wicked down, tested an old little cluster down here that we've had on our way up. You can see the buy pressure is still quite strong, so I'm not willing to rule out more upside in both these assets. If I go to Bitcoin, zoom back out to the weekly chart, you can see that I've kept my measured moves outlined just so you guys can kind of keep tabs on that. You guys know my thoughts on this, that I think with this weekly potential bull flag right there, I believe our target is going to be somewhere between 15 and 16,000 US dollars. And remember, this doesn't have to happen. I'm just looking at a basic technical analysis pattern, measured move there, taking it from where we kind of broke out of this flag pattern here. So that would be my target for that. And I know in the past I had mentioned that after we break above this white triangle that we might consolidate along the old resistance of it as new support before taking off. There is one concern I have with waiting for a retest of this white line to be looking at an entry there. And the reason I am thinking that we might not get a retest of this white triangle is the fact that if this plays out as a bull flags generally tend to move quite rapidly. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially with this weekly candle that we just had close yesterday with some extra volume there. We closed above this horizontal resistance, and I think this week has potential to be quite a large green candle. And of course, none of this has to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if we hit this target within the next week, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. If that doesn't happen, we'll have to see what happens with this candle if we do get that big green spike this week. If not, I assume we would get some sort of a red candle along this white line, and then another red candle, maybe one or two there, just as a bit of a retest before we get some sort of a green candle close along it. And then I think we would get our blast off to the upside. Either way, I don't think either way is too unhealthy. I think this trend still looks very bullish from my perspective because I've been hammering on these facts for months now, guys, looking for that higher macro high, which we got, breaking out of this triangle, which we got. I just think that Bitcoin is going to be on an absolute tear for the next little while, and we're going to see if we can reach my targets up around $27,000. We'll have to see. Obviously, that would be a longer pattern. That may not be for months, maybe even years till we'd hit that. I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow. That's just kind of one of my targets. I want to zoom back out to the daily chart here and just point out the significance of this horizontal purple resistance line around 10.5 thousand. You can see this whole area, although we were going above it, below it, you can see we were kind of magnetic towards that zone. We were definitely being interacted with a lot there, as well as this wick here, this cluster here, even this wick here. You can see that it's definitely a level of interest. And also I want to point out this green, what I've been referring to as my Tesla channel, because you guys know that I've been kind of comparing it to this little bit of green action on the Tesla chart and trying to kind of predict Bitcoin's movement just with another little bit of an indication there. So if I zoom right into the 15-minute, you can see that that purple horizontal resistance line has flipped perfectly to support. Although I'm sure a lot of people were ready to shit their pants when they saw this red candle form in here. You can see right where it tested to was a perfect resistance to support flip. And after that, you can see that I entered a trade here because I have this yellow line drawn out. I was just looking at a little bit of a day trade setup. You can see that we have some interaction here. We got a wick here. I'm going to consider that my second touch point, third touch point, fourth touch point, and then a close above. And you can see we start respecting it. Got this support flip and decided to enter a bit of a long. Not as big as my previous ones, but it'll do. You can see that I started to take profits right here, and my reason for that is that green Tesla channel. You can see that that's been the resistance of it before, even though we got above it briefly. The fact that we're now back into the channel, I don't want to rule out that trend line, and it could definitely be turning into resistance again. So just to take a little bit of risk off the table, I wanted to take some profits there. But if I zoom out on the 15-minute here, you can see I extended these trend lines from the peak of our dump there, just over this cluster of trading here where I did take those profits, and I made a little bit of a kill zone in between the wiki action in the middle and the majority of the trading. So right now we did end up getting back above that line and are currently treating it as a support flip. That looks great to me, and I am actually debating adding to my long. I'm not sure if I will yet. I might wait until we get some sort of a close above that line. This cluster up here, you can see that I have an alert set just to kind of see how it's being interacted with if we do get back up that high. So yeah, these are just some things that I'm looking at in a more, obviously much more zoomed in time frame. Obviously you guys know that long-term macro trend right now. I have been saying how bullish I am lately, and that is no different. Even if we do trade sideways or even down a little bit for a few weeks here, I'm not overly concerned with the macro trend, but I am willing to get in and out of trades, whether it's long or even short. Right now I'm not too concerned about playing any shorts. I would rather just look for falling wedges and that sort of stuff to enter long positions, just because I think the trend is our friend. And I do think that we have a bit of a strong uptrend forming right now if we zoom back out to the daily or the weekly chart. So with that, guys, I think I've rambled on long enough, and yeah, just wanted to let you guys know I'm still around. Just had some camping to do, had to spend some time with friends and family. So with that, I am out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.